Where are we now?
Where are you?
Here, Senua is remembering the house she grew up in, the place where her mother lived. Now, her mother, Galina, was a healer, a wise woman, but someone who shared something in common with Senua in that they both could see beyond the veil, as Galina puts it, i.e., they both have experiences of psychosis. So that was always a point in common between them, and Galena was really the only person in Senua's life who've ever really kind of truly understood those experiences. So she has a really strong link with her mother, and going to this village, this settlement, reminds her so strongly of home, because the way the Droiga have destroyed this settlement is so similar to the way the Viking raiders destroyed their village, that it really throws Senua back into this connection with her mother and a memory of everything that she's lost. And then she finds her mirror here, which gives her that little extra advantage in combat, the ability to focus on the enemies and to see them more clearly.
They are coming. Smoke. The Northmen are coming. They are coming for you.
Remember what they did to you. How your village burned. We cut out
Combat focus is the only sort of like new mechanic that we have in the game that we give to the player, and this fight is supposed to be like a tutorial of that. So it's like a throwback to the mirror in Fable 1, and we introduce a new enemy type that actually forces you to use the mechanic in order to progress. And we have the Furies, the classic, hey, use focus hint.
And the nightmares were the variation of the enemies you come across in the chapter.
Yeah, well, they're based on the slaver enemies, but we gave them some new attack animations to just make them feel a bit more unique. But they share all the hit reactions and the core animation set. Yeah, the VFX team did a great job making these guys look very unique, but also very satisfying to hit. You can see the shards of glass sort of like expand outwards from your strike direction and then get sucked back into the body. And then when you explode them using focus, that's also like very, very satisfying. I think the audio as well is very, very crunchy and very, very well done.
Why did you fight us? We killed your soul. We will kill it. Hear it again.
Sisters to our land and
This place. She drowns in the past. All that she lost, tearing at her with dead hands and eyes of fire. Her village, just cinders now. The past is is never past. Her father,
Senua.
Did you think you could escape your past, Senua? You tried to run, didn't you?
She can't forget. You can never forget.
You thought you got away.
No,
You thought you left it behind in hell.
Dillian.
Dillian, you're Dillian. You're lovely Dillian.
But you will never be free of
His
this.
pain.
His suffering.
However far you go, it will hold you forever in darkness.
It's the only way.
Take your darkness with you. It's yours.
Be in control of
You will never leave your past behind. It binds you here,
You'll drown in the memory of him.
helpless.
She will be lost in grief forever.
You've seen this one, right? You've seen this one.
I think so. Main costume.
Main costume. This has got a big story.
So good. It's so good.
This has got a big story.
I mean, Senua's been busy making her outfit.
She's been, relevant. And here we have
From
the
the shipwreck, it's like,
yeah, we have the headband as well.
I know.
On,
the
on this is where we
headpiece.
have the headpiece because
Yeah.
so it's like keeping that familiarity with Senua
Yeah, yeah.
from the first game, but making it like a more of a functional. It's just made for
Headpiece,
function
yeah.
basically. It's not,
Yeah, Keep her hair
it's
up,
not
yeah.
like she's trying to be a warrior or anything at this point. It's just a functional keeping that hair away from the face,
Yeah.
and also helps us handle the hairline better in CG.
Yes, I mean it
Which
looks
is
cool.
awesome.
But it is still in sync with
Yeah,
number one, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah,
and she's got you can't really see it on here until you get closer in cutscenes, but she's got all like the Pictish symbology on the side
on
of
the
it
sides.
as well.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
Remember we sort of
Well, you
burning it or
you
carving
did,
it?
You did.
Did I burn it?
Yeah,
I
it was
can't
so
remember.
good.
I was doing some burning.
You
or
did
something.
burn the symbols in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the Triskel.
Yeah.
The Triskel. Yeah. So we burn that in,
So
but on the
good.
sides it's got loads of other Pict
Patterns.
symbols
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there as well.
amazing.
And that was a nightmare to make. You know the stitches on the. Do you remember when you did all these stitches on the shoulders? And I
Yeah.
was like, "These look so cool, Jess."
But how
This
do
is
you
gonna
make
be
it?
a nightmare
Yeah, because
to
it's
make
like
in
a
CG.
not a figure of eight. I can't remember, but
It's
it's
so difficult.
Yeah. It's so good.
And you had to draw me a diagram.
Yeah, but that
Of
was
how it-
on the
how it-
that was
how
on
it
the
gets
warrior outfit. That wasn't on this one. It was on the warrior costume. So it was on the one that we did for the trailer. So it's not on here. So on the, do you remember because you had it was took you so long to get that.
I think I just
Tool.
did it. Yeah. I
So
just-
these ones they're just straight stitches we did.
yeah.
We just did that sort of like overlap.
I bet even that was a nightmare.
Yeah, of
There's
course,
complex
of course, yeah.
But it adds to
More
it.
stitches.
Yeah. No, it really adds to it.
It
though,
looks
'cause you
amazing.
see them in the silhouette.
Yeah.
You can see that it's got real stitches rather than like baked in.
Do you remember the debate where the headpiece should sit? Like
Yeah.
we were like moving it by millimeters to find like the correct
On the
position.
head.
It's like should it
On
be
the
just
hairline.
above the eyebrows?
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
Really?
midway.
Low.
Should we show a bit of hairline? No hairline. Like just kept moving it like up and down.
So good.
That scream.
That voice.
Something dark, Senua.
You need to go up there.
Don't let them see you coming.
You need to find out.
Don't let the monsters find
You
you.
can do this, Senua. We believe in you.
She knows what it's like to fear. As a child, scared of the night, her mother's soft voice calmed her. But now, she's alone. And there's more to fear than just the darkness. There are ghosts that walk in the noonday sun, monsters that climb out from under the bed. Some shadows can't just be dispelled with light. Some shadows don't want to scare you. They want your blood, your flesh, your life. But the voices are calling.
They're calling.
Something is drawing you in. moving towards it.
The glow of the light.
Go quietly.
Slowly. Il Toiga.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
It's terrifying.
So beautiful.
You can't sense the evil here.
Yeah, but this is part of a ritual, what Senua was approaching. So yeah, this is a cannibalistic camp performing a ritual to summon Iltaga. And here we see, yeah, the first one. There's the victim. Yeah, but when we were trying to find the look and feel for these guys, yeah, first we've got that ritual, and then we were looking at, you know, how they just like caked themselves in the geysers, you know, the mud that you see in the geysers, and painted themselves in it with blood and that stuff, that mud. So that was first thing, but we couldn't emulate that in CG. We found it very, very difficult to just sculpt that stuff. So we ended up taking one of the ninjas, Jim, up to a scanning chute and with Gab, and we covered him in real clay.
In clay, rope, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, branches and all that.
An interesting thing is that clay was quite cold, which I hadn't factored in. So when we were putting it onto Jim, it was absolutely freezing. And he stormed. He just went on like a trooper. But yeah, I never considered that it would be so cold, and it was very thick, wasn't it? And yeah, I got an assortment of tree branches and sort of like bines and things like this, which I'd found in a woodland near my house, and we wrapped him in that stuff and scanned him. Oh, and we put do you remember the black ink?
Yeah, we put the black ink for the textures and all.
In his mouth. Do you remember in his teeth?
Yeah.
What was that? Do you remember what that? It wasn't ink, was it? It was like a food colouring, maybe. Can't remember.
I think with Jazz had something like for makeup or something like that.
And that's correct. Yes. Yeah. It was the Snazaroo. It's called Snazaroo. Yeah, you just dilute it with water, and that was in his mouth, so it went into all the little crevices in his teeth. I mean, he deserved a medal for what we did to him that day. But yeah, ultimately we scanned it, and then put it into game.
He had some variations as well, right? That trouble.
Yeah, and there's the fire breather version, which came a little bit later. But what we wanted to do with that is like make him sort of a wolf in feel. He's got this like long hair.
The wolf skull, the fur. Yeah.
You did the wolf skull, didn't you?
Yeah, the fur and all that.
Yeah. Then that kind of just. Then as he blew the fire, it felt like it was coming out of the skull, which was really cool as part of the ritual.
Yeah, we used Jim as a base for the other ones as well, right? Even for the treatment that we get from the scan. And then we use on the other ones to have the same unifying aspect on all of them.
That's true. Yeah, because that clay, sometimes we did like a thick version and then we took it off and let it dry and crack, and then we did a thinner version. Which is like multiple shoots. I don't know how many scans we did, maybe 4?
Yeah.
In total?
Yeah, 4 races on.
Full body? Yeah. I mean, a part of the drug as well is like when she's approaching the camp, hearing that something not great is happening over there, and it just builds that tension, you know. Seeing this bit now where, yeah, they're just taking some of the slaves to be killed is really tense. Yeah, and the whole ambience of it with Highland as well, with throat singing, and just adds to this lurking menace.
Look what they do to those who fight. Will destroy you even from them. Don't not time. You have to get out. Get out of here now. Get out. It's not too late to turn back. You can always turn back.
So, what we wanted to achieve beyond the music, it was kind of a ritualistic scenario that feels very tactile, like feels that is happening. In the middle of the arena, there is this chanting with this drum that actually is driving a lot. The tension is driving the VFX, and it's keeping that heartbeat of the ritual that gets bigger and bigger. So I think to achieve that to the maximum immersion possible, what I wanted with the music is to support that beat, to support that brutality and raw of this ritual made by these druggers, which are these characters that are kind of feral and unhinged in a way, right? And they are cannibals. And you want to feel all that in the screams, in the choreography of the... And I think it's coming through. And it feels very immersive also because it's coming through the acoustics of the space. Like we use Triton, which is it's a technology that allows us to create... I don't want to get complicated on this, but basically, whatever sound happens inside of Triton, it will sound inside the real acoustic. It will sound acoustically real or as close as possible. And I think feeling the music in that kind of stone quarry that is carved and rebounding, and the main priest, which is Ren, and if you guys are interested, you can find him in YouTube. Ren Van Terul, I think it's called, and he's this throat singer. He is incredible, and hearing his voice resonating in the space, it makes it feel so powerful. And being 3D, the whole music is 3D. So as you rotate and you move, the music moves with you, and you get closer to the drum, you get further to the drum, so you feel you are closer to the shaman, and it brings you that dynamism, and it keeps it fresh. If the music was static and flat, I think the experience will not be the same. If the music was not living in the space, the experience will not be the same. If the chantings were not done by people that know how to use so well her body to so physical, it will not be the same. So I think every element of the audio just amplify that idea of this is a ritual made by cannibals that is raw.
Yeah, for me, like when I was playing that section, the whole thing felt like an orchestra. Like there was the music, of course, coming in with the throat singing. Then there was the sound of the swords clashing with your enemy, the enemy screaming in the air. You know, everything felt like an orchestra for me. You know, when I played it and when I was putting the headphones.
I think that's a very good way of describing it. It's a very nice dance, right, between a lot of elements. Yeah.
But I mean, we mentioned more than once that, especially many fights, many combat moments, we treat them almost like music video clips. So I think this and the one obviously in the village, the fight in the village, they are a good example.
This fight changed layout multiple times. Originally there was like a big stone pillar in the middle, and you would just go into the ritual and interrupt it, and then we had to figure out how to make the AI work with like a big obstacle in the middle, and that caused a lot of problems. So we ended up simplifying. But here's the thing where you see all of the different combat systems really come together for the first time, because you have Senua, you have different enemy types, and then you have people in the background, and all the events that are driven by the combat director system in a way that you haven't seen before in the other two fights, right? So this is where you get to experience, I think, the combat director in its full cinematic glory for the first time. So we did a lot of different little events and interrupts and different kills, to get all those transitions looking nicely, and to have a big library of things. So if you play the fight twice, you might not see the exact same events play in the exact same way. So this was our first big test for the combat director vision that we have for the game.
You want to talk about the secret that we put on the axe drawer? Like if you would have put the focus mode, you would have, like throw back the axe. You would have catch it in the air and just throw it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's actually in the game. You it's kind of like a trick that if you're good enough, you can learn.
Someone find out because I remember
Yeah,
we
they
saw
posted on
Twitter.
Twitter. Yeah. The other thing I think which is really interesting was this is the first time you've seen the fire breather, and a lot of people had difficulty to dodge the attacks.
Yeah.
And I remember Ben, our combat director, he was always saying, "Roll left, roll to the left." You know, it's just.
Well, I think it's tricky because it's an enemy that sort of like asks you to dodge in the right direction. So it's the first enemy that tests that. So there are some right answers and wrong answers, right? If he does the long speed, you're supposed to dodge left and right, but if he does kind of like the close range, you're supposed to dodge back. And we went through a lot of like iteration on the size of the hitboxes and the timing, but fire is kind of like hard to read because it has like a very fluid shape. It doesn't have like a but I think we're happy where we ended up. I think it's fine to have some enemies that feel a bit trickier than others, and hopefully as you fight them multiple times throughout the game, you'll learn, the right way to respond to those attacks.
Yeah, we had some discussion about, like, a lot between me and Juan about how we can telegraph better attacks and stuff to make it more understandable, and there was always this fight of finding this middle ground between cinematic, obviously, and satisfying, and also a bit game design friendly, so it gives you some information to understand what you have to do, and obviously it's super hard to find.
It's a tricky balance because we didn't want to be too gamey.
Yeah.
We want to keep you immersed, and also our fights happen most of the time in like very low visibility conditions.
True.
Lots of fog in the dark, very dramatic contrast lighting.
It's hard, right?
So enemies in general are hard to read, and they're fast, right? They don't have super long wind-ups. So it was always tricky to try to telegraph those things to the player.
And at the end of this arena, like you would see that priest, and priest used to be a boss.
This character used to be like a boss that you would fight towards the end, and we did a shoot for him, and we started putting together moves. Ultimately, it was just like too much. Like we're already introducing like 4 new enemies through this fight. That's a lot for the player to take in. So we ended up taking the priest and sort of like breaking him into smaller movesets that then became all the different rocks or a few of them that you see here.
Help now! Do it! Get out! Run! Don't wait to find out. What do we do?
Run! He's Tiger! Run! We were lucky. Come on.
It all just stopped.
Yeah, it's daybreak. She'll have to hide from the light now. But she will hunt us. Find our trail as soon as he can. You're not safe now. Let's go.
So I remember this obviously had to be a spectacle, but we wanted to save our reveal of Iltoga for later. So we did everything we could on this scene to sell the moment with effects and audio. So really explicitly linking Iltoga here to the geothermal activity that inspired her. So the cracking of the ground and the explosions, these could be a giant, or they could be, a geothermal explosion. And that's really Iltoga. In a nutshell, she's the forces of nature personified, a threat that you can't explain and can't understand until you give it this name and this presence. think our depiction of the giants, they come from this place of attributing natural forces to a persona, but we also drew from Norse sources to come up with this. If you look at the giants, the Jotun in Norse mythology, they're not all bad and they're not all good and they don't all look a certain way. They're actually not even all giant. They are just a different group of strong creatures that live side by side with the gods, sometimes even, marry them. And they can take all sorts of different shapes. So we thought, well, that we're basically unlimited in our depiction of them. So what suits the story best? And because we've got this theme of how people attribute, I don't know how to say this, people's beliefs can change their perceptions. So we wanted to harness that theme for the giants, show how they represent fear of the natural world, fear at forces that you can't control.
And like you were saying, when you get that creature and you see it, it's unexpected for it to be so complex. In her mind, you just think it's going to kill you, but she's got so much behind her backstory. And when you see that, you kind of feel really sorry for her as well, on what's happened to her. And that's unexpected because, in other media, you see that creature, it's just try and kill you for whatever reason. But in here, we've got more of a background to it.
Don't doubt, don't be a coward. He can help you.
He will show you the way.
You don't need that monster.
What was the name?
Thorcaster.
By the gods. What a terrible thing this is. The Drago were always savage. This is worse than I ever thought possible. I believed that with time, we could claw back our land.
He wished that.
But he didn't believe it.
He has no hope.
This gets darker, bloodier with each day that passes.
Look.
Do you want to talk a bit about that, the one camera rule that you mentioned, and sort of where that came from and the reasons behind it?
Yeah, that goes all the way back to Hellblade, the original. That was a one-shot game, and we wanted to keep that all the way through. The idea is that the camera and the player is supposed to feel like some sort of entity in Senua's life. It could be a third Fury or something else. It's just supposed to make the game feel very personal to Senua. The camera is always supposed to feel like part of her psyche, and it just makes for a more seamless experience. Like you've got cuts in, it becomes more of a movie, and this is supposed to be something a little different. Other films do it, like 1917.
Yeah, they only had 7 cuts or something like that.
Yeah, and they're pretty well hidden, I think, if I remember right. And there's other films that do it, and we were very inspired by films like that, and just really wanted to carry that through to all of Senua's games. So this is one of our transitionary cutscenes, which we've used throughout Hellblade 2 to move from one area to another seamlessly, to sort of keep the narrative going without any cuts and keep our one-shot camera rule going. So we need to move from, this will be the end of Chapter 2, and we're going to move into Chapter 3, and we need to get rid of all of Chapter 2's assets and this environment that we've just been playing in, and we need to load in all of Chapter 3's assets. So we've got a few of these in the game, but this one in particular, we are just panning up into the clouds, getting the environment and characters out of shot, and now we are in that whiteout. We're getting rid of all the old stuff and bringing in all the new stuff. We're just going to zoom in with this fly cam, and we're going to find Senua and her friends again.
So it's basically a sneaky way to hide when you're loading stuff in.
Yes, absolutely. But also sort of trying to do it in a nice way that feels nice and sticks with the style of Hellblade. So one shot, nothing jarring. And like I said, we've got a few of these throughout the game, but that's just one example of them.
My settlement.
In pain.
I led my people here. Promised them a new life.
Called this home.
An escape from the madness and misery across the sea. For some time we were happy.
Like us. We were happy. Until him.
Then the volcano and the darkness came.
So, Red Hills, or Rauhula, am I saying that right? It's a strange place, isn't it? Because it's so close to Reykjavik that you can basically, it's surrounded by roads, and then you've got like an industrial estate over back there.
Yeah, an awful lot of warehouses here.
Yeah, we spent a few days there, didn't we, capturing everything we like the look of. And it was sort of a place where we sort of, some of us did photogrammetry for the first time, or were practicing it in the field for the first time, and starting to, well, hopefully get good at it. I think the results when we got home were quite nice in the end.
This is a good example of how we've had to take the area and kind of expand it a lot. Fortunately, a lot of the formations and rocks around there kind of lent itself to kind of that. You can get a lot of variation out of it.
Yeah, definitely. I think certainly when I was there, it was probably one really, really productive afternoon, actually. I think I captured probably 12 to 14 rock sets. And yeah, it's from that we ended up sort of getting a good chunk of stuff that, you know, of really high detail close-up rock sections that we could use again and again throughout.
One of the things, though, in this earlier section with Fargrim's village was that we really had to tear it apart and show that Hildtauga had devastated this village. You know, just show her powerful, spiteful nature. So that's something we didn't necessarily have that initially. We'd created this area, and it was a little bit later we thought, you know, we really want to gouge big holes out of the ground and really destroy everything, make it super clear just how powerful she was, and, you know, what you're coming up against here as you play.
It's a really good example of the amount of iteration that can go into some levels as well. I know
Definitely.
this went through an awful lot of transformations over a lot of different milestones.
I can't remember how many versions of this level there were. There's like absolute tons, wasn't there? And certainly, I think I joined on the second half of this level, so from the hilltop downwards, I guess. And that section, I think, when I got to it, we just ripped it out and started again. Which was cool, you know, it's got to be right, you know. So whatever version you end up doing of it, you know, that comes out in the final game, I think it's yeah, you know, it just goes through so much change throughout the whole process.
Well, the chase coming up here is in another one of those things where we iterated upon it so often. We had so many versions of it over the course of about a year, and actually what we ended up with sort of came in quite late, really. It was there's a real collaboration between environment art and design and VFX. We had quite a small team, really, all working together really closely to try and drive this scene forward and make it work.
She's here.
You need to run.
Run! Run! She's here. Let's go. Get to the hills!
Get out of here. You can do this!
quite a lot of iteration on the concepts field token, didn't you? Just trying
Quite
to
a
get
lot.
that right.
Yeah, there was a lot of back and forth because we had that idea with the contortion, the pain and suffering, and how that comes through the body, like the cracking and the kind of the feel of that anger and pain. So we thought that'd be a good fit for her movement, which you don't see yet. But when you finally get that reveal, it makes it even creepier and weirder to see her like that.
I think one of the things you did best there was retaining the humanity, like especially in the eyes. You can see the pain and the suffering, and Senua can make that connection, and the player can make that connection that there is a real kind of human presence behind the monstrous.
Yeah, that's super important to have that. Just like some of the first things that we can even get is like something audio, something from the audio. In this case, yeah, that was one of the first things, having that scream and like then seeing that pain on her face and like putting that through character. Because a scream is so full body in. It kind of comes right from the stomach and up and through. So if you can imagine that, it's like we wanted that all the way through body. It's just like anguish. And then you put like fire involved with that. It's pretty painful, so you're getting that through there as well. There's two things. She kind of always was. She's gone through different ages, like getting her age right. Because she had the baby and it's like, how old was she going to be? Sometimes they had children quite young. So it was like, we wanted her quite young, then we went a bit older, and then kind of... So there was a lot of back and forth, and then we got Claudia, who did the contortion performance capture. And then she sat about right, so we used her in there. But yeah, it's always been like the essence was always there, but then trying to find something that made sense was really difficult because she's in a volcanic environment, she's been burnt, so it's like, what clothes is she going to have? Well, she's not going to have a dress on and a hat, you know what I mean? Because she's pretty burnt up, so it's like getting these considerations and like, so it's trying to bring some sort of meaning to it, like what side did she finally die on, like what side did she rest on, and I kind of had that in mind. So one side of her is kind of really gone, like really like broken down to the bone, and on the other side there's a bit more flesh on there, so it's like again what you said, keeping that humanity, that bit of something resembling human that you can relate to while still having the monster, and adding the narrative bits on how it might have happened. It's a lot to balance, but yeah.
Actually, Lara had one question.
Yeah.
When Iltaga comes up, for a few seconds she says we're monsters.
Yeah.
Did she meant herself and Senua, or herself and other giants?
What she means is Senua and herself, because it's a sense that Ilsoga is linked to Senua in that way, in that Senua can see herself as a monster because she, for a long time, she thought she bore this curse that she was dangerous to people. So there is that very strong sense of a shared monstrosity between them, and that's why Senua can empathize so well with Iltaga, linking herself to Senua in that moment.
And then what she later does with Gordy and stuff like that, is she a monster? Yeah. Or is she not? That's the ultimate thing, isn't it? The decision.
Nothing is impossible.
No, there is no way.
He is right. We cannot kill the giant.
The gods cannot be killed.
You can't. You deserve this.
Why did you come here, Senua? To stop the slavers.
You thought you were helping them.
And now you are stranded. Stay. You can't stop them. You can't kill the giant. You can't stop them.
I will. I will kill the giant.
You can't.
I think the kind of genesis for this level was we wanted to connect this notion that Senua is, because of her past, because of the events in the first game with her father, she's kind of uniquely situated to be able to challenge the notion that the giants can't be killed. And we wanted, the birch ritual kind of connects the past with the present. So she goes into the birch ritual thinking, you know, I've killed a god before. I think I can kill the giants. And then her self-doubt and her guilt in the form of the shadow come back to remind her that that no, she can't do this. So I think for me, the birch ritual is the process of Senua remembering how she challenged that authorial voice of kind of religious authoritarianism and stood up against it and broke through it, and how that's what she needs to do again. She needs to show people that this lie about the giants can't be defeated is the same kind of lie as you have to appease the gods. And, you know, famously in the first game, Senua says, "Fuck the gods." And I think this is her drawing that line from there to a point where she can say, "Fuck the giants." Or at least find a different way of defeating the giants. But so we really lent heavily on the shadow and the absolutely amazing Stephen Hartley, who was the voice for this, just to build up that link to the past. So you'll see Senua basically being told that she's worthless, told that she's nothing, told that she can't do anything, and it's her challenging that. And we, through the design team, did an amazing job of taking that idea and then crafting a level where essentially you need to turn away from your father's voice and find the right path of your own choosing.